Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Shayna, and I am the Managing Director here at Host Agency Reviews. Please welcome our next webinar host from the wonderful Outside Agents Host Agency, Chad Burt. Yeah.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you back. So a little overview of the webinar today. If you want to unlock the full potential of AI for your travel business, in this webinar, Chad, who is the co-owner of Outside Agents, is actually returning for another wonderful webinar to actually dive deeper into prompt engineering, the secret to getting better results from tools like MAGgie that Outside Agents has developed and ChatGPT. So whether you're new to AI or ready to level up, you'll really walk away from this webinar with actionable strategies and real prompts you can start using right away. Plus, if you are here attending today, you will receive a free ebook packed with 200 plus AI prompts designed specifically for travel advisors, which I absolutely love. So if you didn't catch the last webinar on MAGgie, no worries. Chad will give a quick overview of MAGgie here. That's Outside Agents exclusive AI assistant that is specifically designed for travel advisors that helps advisors streamline itineraries, emails, content creation, kind of sky's the limit. And we will link that webinar in the comments for you. So if you want to go back and watch that, you absolutely can. As a reminder, please do not forget to post your questions into the chat. We will be monitoring the chat throughout. And if there's time at the end, I'm going to come back, jump on, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. But now, Chad, I leave it to you. I'm going to hop off, and this webinar is all yours.
That's awesome. And Shayna, I'm so glad to be here. Host Agency Reviews has to be one of my favorite sources of information in the industry today. I've known Stephanie forever. You guys just do an amazing job. So it's my honor, my privilege to be here. Not everybody brings me back for a second presentation, so I appreciate that as well. But folks, I want to get to the chase here, okay, real quick. First of all, my name's Chad Burt. I'm one of the owners of OutsideAgents.com, and I want to give you a little perspective on what that means. My cousin, my best friend, during the Great Recession, realized that my aunt and uncle were going to be out in business in a few days. We had $10.62. We were $500,000 in debt, and our uncle was in stage 4 cancer. So if poop ever hit the fan, that was a moment. And I mention that because we're used to working for a living. You can go and do all the theoretical, wonderful stuff and all that you want, and it's great. I'm not discrediting it. But I would argue that the vast majority of us, especially as entrepreneurs, we need to put our hands on things, right? And so that's what we're going to do today. The first thing I want to do for you folks is prove to you that magic doesn't exist. It's a trick. Everything's a trick. Okay? Everything's a trick. What is a trick? Trick is knowledge that's been applied in a way such that not everybody can keep up with it. So you can imagine that the people who are creating some of the best AI engines out there are really dedicated to the notion of keeping what they do magic, because they don't want you messing with it. Remember, all technology sufficiently advanced will appear as magic. That's a little Isaac Asimov for you. So it may look like magic, but trust me when I say there's nuts and bolts behind what we're doing. So just real quick, there's kind of 3 approaches in AI right now as it relates to what we're doing. Okay? And it's kind of like my dad's saying, you can lead, follow, or get out of the way. Or another way of putting it is you can do it yourself, you can follow others, or you can have a professional do it for you. Folks, what we've done with MAGgie is bring in a world-class team of prompt engineers and AI experts, including Hardik Thacker and Tim O'Brien, who are on the call with us, to Take AI to the next level. So what does MAGgie stand for? That's our flagship AI, right? That's My Agent Genie's Generative Intelligence Engine. What does that mean? Well, it generates stuff based on what it learns. And that's kind of some next level stuff because there's a little risk involved with it. Okay. It's thinking basically. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's always right, plausible, really close to accurate. Accurate. These are all degrees of understanding that we have to apply to our interactions with AI. Folks, I was privileged to be quoting the Wall Street Journal here a couple of years ago when I said that AI is a teenage intern. It really is smarter than you, faster than you, younger than you. Just read the book, so it's fresh up on there, right? So why don't we have these smart, wonderful interns do everything for us? Why don't I have my 17-year-old son sign a mortgage for me? He's a lot better at reading. He knows a lot of stuff. Why don't I have him do it for me? Well, because he's not ready for it yet. It's going to take a moment. He's going to have to scrape his knee, and kind of like we all have, to get to the point where he can ink his own mortgage agreement. The analogy, folks, I'm drawing is this: AI, whatever flavor, wherever you get it from, it's an extension of you. It augments you. It does things at your explicit direction. And that means you're responsible for its output. So I'm going to ask you guys right out of the gates before I even start showing you anything to agree to the following. Do not ever copy and paste what AI does for you. Take a good read at it. Take a look at it like it was a really smart, bright intern and start doing things with it. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. You really can't mess it up. So why on earth am I going to try to take up 40 minutes of your time showing you all the ins and outs of how to develop your own AI prompts and outcomes and marketing tools and all that? Folks, I'm doing it because I believe it's imperative that you find the right intern, somebody that you can work with, somebody that you can trust, somebody that has potential. I'm going to argue that MAGGie's more than likely what you need, but I'm not here to sell MAGGie. I'm here to talk to you about how to get the most out of artificial intelligence. And folks, I'm going to tell you the most important thing for you to understand today. That is that you must be at least as good at, but preferably much better than your clients at the UCAI. Folks, despite my youthful appearance and all that, I was around when the internet hit the ground, commercial and all that stuff. And what I saw was two distinct schools of travel agents. One was threatened by it, said, miss me with that. I'm never going to be replaced by the internet. The others embraced it, and they took their lumps and nugs and all that good stuff, but they made it. The former, not so much. So it's imperative that we understand how to use AI, just as I coached my mom and my dad, my aunt and my uncle, to use AI and be at least, or the internet, at least as good at it as your clients, preferably much better. And so that's the primary goal for today, in addition to showing you some pretty cool tools. So let's jump in real quick. Folks, in no way is my intention to try to take credit for other people's works. Yes, I'm a boss, but I really try to avoid that. So I want to give a big shout out to Tim, to Hardick, and to Richa, who were instrumental in developing this next generations of prompts for travel agents to use. I think you're going to be suitably impressed. Now, if I understand correctly, I hit this present button. I should be able to share my screen. Folks, if all went well, There's a little ticket to your future up there. You plus Mag. That is going to help you with these expert insights, travel consulting, group travel, vacation packages, sales and marketing. She's going to help you with everything. And for those of you that are on the crafty side, that QR code works. And I'll also pass it out towards the end of the day. But what is this document? Folks, it's designed to show you where you probably are and give you an idea about where you can be in terms of using these prompts. Let me give you an example. What we did here, we took a prompt, and folks, I have the advantage of having worked with thousands of agents, providing I can't tell you how many different prompts, and we went through and tuned them. Okay, and as we tuned them and perfected them and evolved them, we made many of them our own and hard cooked them into our other systems. So it's kind of crowdsourcing information. I like to think I'm the smartest guy in the room. Obviously, I'm not. But if we get a lot of people in the same room working in the same direction, it's likely that we're going to come out with something that's greater than the sum of its parts. So let me give you an example here. Prompt: a family of four is looking for a destination for a beach vacation with family-friendly activities, resorts, safe beaches, and activities, and all that great stuff.
Hey, Chad.
Yes.
I'm jumping in very quickly because we've had a request for you to zoom in a little bit more so that those who are watching can read it a little bit more closely. Do you mind?
Oh, they want to read it?
Well,
Oh, okay.
I
One
think they want to get some.
second.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to jump off, but keep going.
There we go. Hopefully that's better for everybody. Folks, I told you I was going to introduce you to a number of tools today. Monica is an extension similar to Maggie that has a number of tools available to you. It's a quick stop, a great way to get a few things done real quick because it has access to, as you can see over here, multiple models and stuff. So it's just a place for me to go, much like you might go to ChatGPT or you might hit Gemini or you might hit any number of the engines that are out there today. Okay, so I'm just going to toss in this prompt here and let's see what it comes with. Orlando, beaches, Maui. I mean, this isn't bad. Kind of general though, right? So if we hop back into our travel agent prompts and try a different one. So this is a prompt that we've, this is a very technical term, people. We juiced up. Okay, so sometimes we want to add greater clarity, more specificity. We want to reference resources. We want to give it context. Okay, in this case, we're just going to hop on in here. I want you to look at the difference in the nature of the information. First of all, look at this. Tables, things are broken up. It's clearer. It's giving reasons to use this information. It's giving you alternates. This is much, much better. So what can we conclude from that single experiment? Folks, I bet if I continued to work with this one prompt, eventually I'd have what I call a power prompt.
Chad, I'm
Yes.
so sorry. I'm back. Just because I love hanging out with you. But we can still see only the Word document being shared.
Did it just move?
Yeah, the Word document was moving. I think you were I think you were meaning to share. I think meaning to share Monica to see where the prompts are going and everything. So we see your Word document currently.
Okay.
Prompts
And so
themselves.
this was the output from that second prompt.
Yeah. So
Now
right now we just see the Word document with your prompts. Is that what we're supposed to be seeing? Yeah.
No. So let me make an adjustment here real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. We may need to reshare just the screen and not the tab.
Aha.
Give us 1 minute, everybody live. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay, let's see.
Now I'm sharing that screen, and you should see Monica now.
Yes. All right.
I'm going back to the travel prompt. So, folks, I was only a CTO for 25 years, so please forgive me. I'm a little embarrassed. Anyway, now that we can see what we're doing, I just want you to notice that we're able to take this and pop it into Monica. And here's the thing: if I change a single word in here for a memorable and super exciting beach vacation, this will change. You notice how the words are just different? For example, Grand Fiesta wasn't mentioned previously. These are subtle, nuanced changes. Folks, for you that have been in the business for a minute, you know how much a single word can mean in a client's perception of what you are proposing for them. This is a fantastic way to iterate this. And I'll tell you this, many of the platforms out there today have an optimized prompt button, and it will tweak the heck out of it. But much like a teenage intern, it doesn't mean that its optimization is in the best interest for what your client needs or you. You have to go back and reread it and understand what you're proposing. Never, ever, ever let your teenager sign a mortgage. Never, ever, ever let your teenage intern go directly to a high value client and do their best. You're the boss. You're the adult. You're in charge. Make sure you act accordingly. Seriously, it's that important. Now, what on earth can we possibly do with stuff like this? I think this is great. What are the most compelling value propositions for travel advisors? Help me make my content on whatever more personal and relatable. Generate 5 compelling subject lines for an e-newsletter. Look at reviews that were posted, and then each one of these can be improved. So what we did, folks, was this: we took some of the best that we had and started giving our agents access to the latest, greatest version of ChatGPT that's available out there today. The one you'd be paying $20 a month, we're giving to our agents for free. It's included in their $26 or $46 a month plan. Why would we do that? Folks, one of the privileges of being the boss is that you can act on things that you see. And I made the decision to act on giving our agents unfettered access to ChatGPT 4.0 in the hope that you guys would simply embrace it and start to use it. So it's still here. Then we went to a whole new level. Agents started contributing pages and pages and pages of their own prompts. So we crowdsourced stuff. And then we asked MAGgie and AI to consolidate them and try to make me look really cool. At outsideagents.com, any place you see Chad Lab, that's me kind of pushing the edge. And we want to make sure people understand that we're learning in this environment, but this is pretty good stuff. Let me give you a quick example. You're working on a business name, hypothetically. What's your unique value proposition? Expert, multi, brand values, family above all. And a client avatar, let's say semi-retired executives in their 50s with 2 teenage sons. Folks, the more detail you give this, the more specific it'll be. For example, you ever have your spouse walk up to you and say, "What do you want for dinner?" Blank face, right? And then it's like, "You thinking Chinese or maybe some Mexican?" "Oh, yeah, I could go for some tacos." So the more information context we give it, the more it's able to drill into what it thinks that you need. And that's the point. So here I've provided it with some very basic information. Hit submit. "15 potential business names." And it says, "Hey, which ones do you like the best?" Let's go number 2 and number 4. And now Maggie is able to go back up into the previous conversation to understand what you're talking about, has that context. And in our environment, Maggie knows who you are, what your sales look like, what your training looks like, and so on and so forth. So these names now come up along with some potential URLs. Folks, I could have sat there for an hour and not come up with all these names. Now, let's say I go through these and say, man, all but number 9 are garbage. Great. Now you know what you don't want. It's fine. It only took you a couple of seconds. It's a great way to ideate without sacrificing your ego, your dignity, your pride, right? I can give you a number of different examples. The prompt or the point, folks, is this. Say I need an article. I'm going to say cruises, Mexico. Okay, you enter 4 very simple pieces of information, and then all this starts happening. Now watch. So we wrote all this for you. Could you come up with this on your own? Yes. Do you have a large population of people to give you feedback from? No. So we're giving the advantage of our size back to the individuals that comprise our size. I'm going to submit. Look at this. Now, you're thinking, well, I don't even know what search engine optimization is. That's fine. Ask. Maggie will help you. I guarantee it. Look at all this amazing content here. And so then we even extended this technology to create what's called Offer Genie. Here's an offer I'm interested. I pick a picture, keywords to include excitement. Now look at this. Folks, for those of you that struggle with content and you wonder, gosh, what do I say to client X, Y, and Z? How do I, not send another promotion to them? This is how you do it. This is exactly how you do it. Now, I'm using a profile of an agent with her permission, but Maisie's voice, her tone, she loves emojis, are all being embedded in here. Then you click download offer package, and what you get is a zip file. That you can now copy and paste into your email client, or if this was a blog post, you could do that. It has all your images ready to go, just like you'd asked it to. There's the picture you selected. Now, folks, you could very easily use some of our tools, put your logo on that, do a lot of other things. The point here, and this is critical, is I'm not trying to save you time. I'm trying to help you reallocate that time to things that are more meaningful to your clients and more important to you. Okay, it's not about saving time. It's about using time as effectively and efficiently as possible. So we give you this range of tools. So then we got to thinking, this is all cool. I mean, cool's a word, right? This is great. I love this. We got a Gold Magellan Award for just this. But unfortunately, me and my team aren't good at just staying put. So they started moving forward. And ladies and gentlemen, what you see over here on the right now is MAGgie. So what is MAGgie? She is your always present agent assistant. She's there to help you with all kinds of things. You can go in and you can create clients, fully qualified. You can then go do research for them from other clients. Let's say I've been doing a whole lot of research on Alaska. Well, there's no reason for me to go do it over again for a different client. Let me just grab some of the stuff that looks good. Kind of makes sense, right? Now, let's say I'm over here on a specials page. And I save it to MAGgie. And just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and put it the Robert demo. Okay, now you'll see over here on the right how all this information now got passed to MAGgie. Kind of cool, right, folks? How many of you got a stack of Post-it notes about so thick, and you go through them about once a week? Dog errand brochures, highlighting stuff, maybe jotting down some hand notes. They're going to save you a lot of time. And then I can actually come back and by using the @ symbol, I can see some of the research that I already have available. And if I recall, Robert 2, and look at this. What? For real? How many of you guys get those promotions from the vendors? They're a giant PDF, right? The upper third has a picture and the offer, and then the bottom two-thirds is what? Legal disclaimers, due dates, that. So talk about a great way. I would encourage you to read it and find it yourself, but a great way to double check it. Great way to double check it. I could also continue to build offers through Holland America's websites and so on. Aggregate all this information to the point where I could actually start. Yeah, I'm hopping around here. This different, same Robert, different trip, but just bear with me on this. Turks and Caicos. Let's create him a travel tale. What's a travel tale, folks? We hop around, quoting people left, right, and sideways. We've been telling you for a couple of decades, don't sell anything that you don't have on hold. Right? Well, the way to avoid that is to start implicitly qualifying your client. So you create them a couple of plausible stories for the vacations that they're looking at, and you're going to be able to get a sense of what they really want. For example, the husband might say he's an adrenaline junkie. So you book him a parachute trip from the top of the Eiffel Tower. He says, well, that's not quite the junkie that I'm talking about. Maybe something a little mellower. Great. These travel tales offer you that conversational starting point without trying to sell anybody anything. It's a great way to start understanding what your clients want and need. And then I could start chatting with us. I could optimize the travel tale with AI. Make it thrilling for their 19-year-old son. Dad is a little afraid. Okay, we give it some tone. I always like funny. Then we optimize. Folks, it's going to go through and it's going to rewrite it all the time. It's trying to take what it understands of your brand voice and apply it to everything it's doing. Everything. What we found a couple of years ago in doing a social media experiment was that most of the agents who participated didn't like the way the content sounded. They relied on personal relationships. And so sending them some kind of boilerplate content wasn't what they wanted to do. So this now talks about content that's more aligned with what the client actually wants and with what you actually know about and with what you actually sell. So brings us kind of a number of features here. Research is very powerful. I just kind of demoed that. And folks, I'm going to provide you links here at the end of this with training videos and all kinds of this content. But for right now, I'm just jumping around to give you the vibe. Okay. Now, hands down, in my humble personal opinion, is this web app that I wasn't really excited about in the beginning. I wanted it to stay over here as an extension, but I've learned over the years to listen to the good people that you have working for you. God didn't give me not use them, right? So the first thing you notice is that Maggie up here was wiggling. That tells you she has a couple of nudges for you. What are nudges? Nudges are next steps that you should be taking based on your behaviors, what we know works, and what your peers are doing. And so it gives you a very small number of nudges of things you might not have noticed. We call them nudges, folks, because we're adult learners. You can't tell us squat. You got to tell us why we got to read the book, right? But a friend of yours going, hey, look at that. We might just listen to that because we have the credibility of the friend's recommendation, right? So as we get to know Maggie and get to know her understanding of us, you should be taking actions on what Maggie's recommending. It's pretty cool stuff. Marketing is one of my favorite sections, folks. I'm just going to touch through here real quick. And Hardik, do you want to jump in? I don't know how to let me know, but I think you can let the host know. We can go from there. But creating a marketing plan. Marketing plan sounds really big. It's not. It's what are we going to do to promote ourselves, in the near term, in a manner that reflects our branding and our unique value propositions. Kind of cool. So in this case, I'm going to say, hey, let's talk to me about some email. I'd like to do it for a week. I like to do it 2 days a week. So I don't want to be noise. See, these are the decisions you need to make. Uh, and here, that's what's the motivation for sticking your plan. What we're saying is, why are you doing this? So not all marketing, not all advertising needs a call to action. Sometimes we're just trying to build brand awareness. So let's try that. And here it's giving you recommendations about the type of stuff that you might want to create. Folks, the idea here is we don't want to just give you a laundry list of stuff to copy and paste and go post. We want you to think about it at the time that it's relevant, right? Shortly before it goes out. But this at least and now, for example, this was something I did yesterday. That will appear on your task list. It will also appear in your Gmail or your Outlook calendar. It's all right there. And as I recall, I have action items now that I can take action on. Half the time in running a business, it's the stuff that I forgot to write down that I wish I'd written down so I did it. So this agendizing of your social media activities, your blog activities, your whatever activities. I added my own category called business intelligence by just adding a new list. This becomes a hub for everything you're doing. Let me give you another example. I want to create an email. I just want one email. My brand voice. I'll show you this here in just a second, but we give you all kinds of tools to define your brand voice because you speak differently in social media than you do in a blog, than you do in an email. So we give you these options for a number of brand voices. In this case, I'm just going to grab the one I created. And now this tone modifies that core brand voice. So this is my brand voice. This is how I talk. But man, if I'm excited, I might be talking a little bit different. So we're just trying to add a little nuance and subtlety to your core voice. Now, what's different about this? We're still working on some tuning, but basically it's trying to find your brand voice, stuff that you study, stuff that you know about, stuff that should be interesting to your client based on their history and so on, so that it can write a relevant and meaningful email. Look, this is Maisie all over. I'm your humble guy. Yes, I do have a cape. Thanks for asking. Okay, because we asked it to be funny, right? I think that's pretty amazing. Then I could send it to the client. I could save it and schedule it later, or I can just send it now. Now, in a couple minutes, I will get that email. Pretty cool. Why is that so cool? Because we all have an email client, right? Because this is structured, this is organized. If I had scheduled this to show up my calendar, it would show up my calendar and do what it was supposed to do. Same thing with social media. So you need a post. Great. Create a post. And you would give it a brand voice. You'd apply a tone. Now, folks, the tone, the number of characters, the pacing, the cadence, the vocabulary, all that changes from platform to platform. So in this case, we're going to do LinkedIn. And now look at this beautiful post that you would now post to your My site. And I'm being told right now there's a little technical issue, so I'm hoping it'll be there. So for right now, I'm just going to schedule the post. And I'm going to say, let's fire this thing off tomorrow at 12:41. Now what will happen is we go back to our agenda. See how the post is shown up there? I can go back and edit it, change it, do what I want to do with it. I'm in total control, folks. That's the point. I'm in total control. I'm not letting my teenage intern run amok. I'm in control. But I can have my intern go do a lot of the work for me, and then I just come back and tune it up. How cool is that? Same thing with blogs and whatnot. Now, one of the coolest news features we just added was well over 200 robust interactive destination guides. We've got another 300 or 400 coming shortly. So we'll have over 600 destination guides in the foreseeable future. And these are included currently in our membership packages. I know lots of companies that charge $25 to $50 a month to give you this. Why am I not charging you for it? Because it's going to improve your conversion. It's going to improve your client's perception of you as a professional.
Chad, do you want me to do this? I can do it on my phone as well.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll give an overview, and the folks, I'd like for him to show how awesome this looks on a mobile. The point here is that we have all this information, their hours, their website, further details on everything we're talking about. We read more about it. We can take deep dives. We can go to the source of the information and see what the heck it's talking about. So this isn't just some kind of fluffy little brochure thing. This is highly customized to what the customer wants and what you are able to deliver. And now I'd love it, Arctic, if you could show them real quick what this looks like on mobile, because mobile matters. Are you able to do that, Arctic?
Yes, I'll share my screen. Don't show the steps again, the whole screen. Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here. I do not know if you see my screen. I think you guys do.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, I think it is working. So as Chad mentioned, right? So we've tried to make this into an integrated experience with your chat and your research and your travel data and your marketing and your social media and your blogs and your emails, everything connected to one tool so that you don't have to, jump and use a notepad app and then Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar, and then open your email client, and then open your Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever to post, and same for blogs. So just an example of destination guides. The chat is also available on the web app, as you can see. I would just say like a client is traveling to Paris. What are the best places to visit, correct? And what MAGgie would do is basically, as Chad mentioned, it's connected to your profile. It's connected to our database, which includes the destination guides. So it's given you all the places that your client can visit. And you can click on this button to directly come to the Paris guide, for example, the city guide. And what I'll do is, and you can share this with your clients, of course. So I'll copy this link. I'll share my phone screen with you guys very quickly. Up, I think you should be able to see it. Oops, sorry. I'll just connect it again. And here you go, right? So I opened it on my phone, and this is, what happens when you share it. Most people, 80% of people use mobile devices to open links that you receive. And we've made special effort to make this into a mobile optimized screen. So it's very easy to see things, right? I can zoom in on maps. I can go to locations. I can see hours of the restaurant when is it open. We've made sure that this has genuinely good information for people who travel, including weather, insider trips, local customs, a few sentences in French, parlez-vous anglais, do you speak English? All these are like super helpful for clients when they travel, major airports, train stations, bus terminals, etc., etc., etc. And the most important thing is, we've made sure it is for clients. If I want to email the agent, I'm the customer. Great guide on Paris. Love it. Would like to speak more. And boom, it's done, right? So the whole thing was, I just did it very quickly because I know that we have limited time, and then there's question and answers, but there's so much that is also coming into MAGgie, which would include a detailed proposal builder and tasks and automations and a lot of other cool stuff. And as Chad mentioned, we would be adding new destination guides. So this should be a pretty exhaustive resource, which would cover practically all cities where people travel to. It already covers the top 217 destinations, right? Which is about 70-80% of the traffic. But we're very well aware that this is a good resource. We've got great feedback. So we would keep adding to it. And MAGgie, as Chad said, right? So it's your personal assistant, which knows you, which is there to help you in your day-to-day. And yeah, very excited to get an opportunity to build this and and constantly get feedback from all you guys, because without your feedback and participation, all this would not have been possible. So yeah, thanks, Chad. Over to you. And there's so much
This
more to
is
show,
great
but I
stuff.
think
We
the
can keep
time.
on going. And I want to remind everybody, this is not a MAGgie sales pitch. We're just comparing and contrasting a specialized tool with a generalized tool. And can you stack the information and build these prompts and all this stuff yourself? Absolutely. We've empowered you to do that. To have them all in one place and just do it like a teenage intern that knows that you like cream in your coffee and get you what you want, it's an amazing thing. And so what does the road ahead look like? We start with destination guides because we think that people have been doing this fundamentally wrong for quite a while. We start with prices and work our way back to details so often. Now what we want to do is craft the story that the client wants, and then they'll buy it naturally. We don't have to sell them anything. But by explicitly and implicitly understanding what they actually want, We're able to go find it. And like Dan Crutchfield, our national sales director, says, if you find them what they want, they'll buy it. It's literally that simple. So this is a conversation tool. This is a relationship building tool. This is an efficiency enhancing tool. And they're available elsewhere. In a generic way. Like I used to use Monica all the time, but for the $20, I'd rather be part of OutsideAgents.com and use the same technology. I'd rather have a common interface for everything I'm doing. And I'd like to be able to predict the interactions, the types of interactions I'm having with that instance of AI. I'd like to get to know her. I'd like for her to get to know you. So with that having been said, I'm going to open myself up to all the questions in the world. Do you want to know the nature of humanity? Do you want to know how to fix that printer you've had since 1999? Or if you have some questions perhaps related to artificial intelligence, I'm here to help.
Sorry, I only have printer related questions, so we're good.
Shake it. Shake the cartridge. Shake the cartridge. Turn it off. Turn it on. You'll be all right.
Yeah, so the on and off. It works. Honestly, it works for me every time. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. And I do have some questions, both from myself and from the audience. So I actually had a question which Hardik kind of already answered, but someone else added a little something. So I was going to ask you, where do you see MAGgie going over the next couple years? And you've already talked about some of the expansion and what's going to happen with MAGgie. Tammy in the comments specifically asked, is there a plan to have an app? So
yes.
Yeah, short answer is yes.
So let me share with you our dev philosophy, and that is that you dive in hip deep and you start working on things, and you start deploying those things which make sense at the time. You don't want to go out there and look foolish, right? But we got a good reputation. We can put something out there and solicit honest feedback, real feedback. So as the extension started to happen, we realized that a web portal would be an additional benefit to everybody. And we always knew an app was going to be necessary, but we didn't know what that app necessarily looked like. Look, I'm still not a fan of running a business off my thumbs. I still won't sign a mortgage on my phone. I just won't. Having said that, a lot of business gets done at the dentist office, it gets done in traffic, it gets done off of our mobile devices. So rest assured, there will be a mobile app. So we're going to have an extension. We've got the web portal, and then the app is on deck. We're actually working on building it right now. But at all times, I just want to assure everybody we have an iterative and recursive approach to development. So that means you take a couple steps forward, and then you take a step back, not because you have to, but because you want to. And you recurse that information, move forward another couple steps, step one back, and see where you're at. And you just keep on doing this very methodic approach to small, important improvements over time.
Mm-hmm.
So this dog will hunt, I guarantee it, and it will dominate the industry if it's not already. People want this really bad, and to be honest with you, I've been kind of holding the reins on its release. It could have 6 times the number of users it has right now. You can tell by Hardik's expression there that's exactly what he wants. But I want to kind of eke it out there so we get a chance to do the best job possible.
No, I love it.
A long haul play.
I love it. And we just had Pauline comment saying great AI program. So we love that. Thank you, Pauline, for the support.
Thank you, Pauline.
Yeah. I have a couple other questions from the audience. So Nancy was wondering if you are familiar with Toby AI. It's supposed to be a travel-focused AI tool. Oh, we lost him. Oh, there he is.
No, I just dropped my pen.
So if you're familiar with Toby AI, it's supposed to be a travel-focused AI tool. And what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out and kudos to Travel Research Online. That shop's owned by Richard Earls, and he's probably one of the most venerable or venerated icons darn near in our industry. That guy's been around since before I was.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tease him when I first met him that he would sell a plane ticket and then run outside and go start the propeller and stuff. And he didn't like that, but it was funny. So having said that, I'm also really good friends with their son Ryan, who's their lead developer. So what are the differences? Richard and I originally started off to do kind of a cooperative endeavor here. And we realized that there were two distinct paths to be taken. And one was in the aggregate, in the macro, and the other was in the pinpoint, in the micro. So I wanted to identify brand voices in a manner such that they communicate in a receptive way to multiple people. I call it thinking of you marketing. Hey, I was working on this Alaska thing here for a friend of mine, and we were looking at that bridge you were talking about, but I know we couldn't get that together last year. But what do you think of this? So it's literally a thinking of you thing. Look, my mama told me that girls don't like flowers nearly as much as you think they do. They like the fact that you thought of them and that you went out of their way to do something nice for them. So clients are a lot like that. I don't have to say girlfriends or boyfriends. They just want to know that you were thinking of them and that they weren't part of a buckshot project to everybody. We find conversions triple, quadruple, quintuple when we do this kind of marketing. So he kind of took us this more of a direction. I took more of a, I hate to say this, I wanted something that was fundamentally human. And they wanted to leverage some existing technologies, existing workflows, and do something that was a little more familiar to agents. And so at that point, we kind of parted developmental ways. We still talk every week. Don't get me wrong. I'm the one that went talk to TLN about what a great product he has. Having said that, I've got a bigger team just building stuff. And I've got a huge population of agents that will tell me everything I needed to hear even before I ask. So does that make us better? No, it makes us different. It makes us different. We're not ones to tell everybody what they need. We're here to tell them, hey, we have what you might need. I always draw an analogy. We're a buffet. And Shana, I'm going to hand you a plate. I'm going to tell you that chicken's awesome. Because my dad especially is awesome. But if you want to do the salmon, that's cool too. Whatever works for you is going to make that experience what you needed it to be. And so fundamentally, that's our approach, and that's the distinction I would make.
Yeah. Oh,
And just to add to what Chad said, just like a couple of lines, because
yes.
Chad's a great orator, so it's difficult to match that. But I would just go on to a couple of things. Is as Chad said, outside agents, 12,000 agents, a lot of supplier relationships, a lot of, I would say, proprietary data on agents, on what's selling, what's out there. We saw a couple of promotions that Chad shared. So I would say one more difference would eventually be we have the data to leverage, and we can provide that personalized experience to agents, including the best suppliers to sell, including the best hotels to sell, including the highest commission cruise lines to sell as per customer expectations or needs or wants. So that would eventually take MAGgie into a very separate location and place which is fundamentally human, as Chad mentioned a lot of times, built by agents for agents, which would allow us to differentiate in a maybe better way or a worse way. That's not for us to say, but differentiate from generic or general purpose tools which leverage OpenAI and different models. But yeah, so that's the goal. To allow agents to make the best use of their time, because everybody's super busy, get time back and be able to sell more, deliver a better service to their customers, and get more customers.
And real quick, in interest of time, I know we've got seconds left, and I hate to make a price point proposition here, but they charge a monthly fee. And if you're a member of OutsideAgents.com, you get ChatGPT, or you know what I'm trying to say, ChatGPT included in your program, and MAGgie, and these destination guides, and all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, all I want to do is make you happy, and that's generally done by making people successful.
Well, thank you. This is actually a perfect note to end on. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry if there were a few questions we weren't able to get to, but Chad, Hardik, thank you. Thank you to I hope you all know that the huge outside agents team in the backstage area, that's been such a wonderful support. I linked the previous webinar as well in the comments for anyone that's interested. That
Do
Chad.
me a favor.
Yep.
If you can, push the following URL. It will not be live until tomorrow, but the URL is go.outsideagents.com /
Yep.
HAR links, HARLINKS. What I'm going to do when I get off of this, I'm going to put together a link of the resources I demonstrated, also some additional resources for you, and a link to that 250 power prompt book. And I'll get it on over to you, and hopefully you can, tomorrow by this time, the link will work. If there's a password, it will be OA strong. All lowercase. OA strong.
Strong. Okay.
Strong. Like both. Yeah.
Got it.
And that should be live about this time tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you. I know a couple of you were asking for the prompt, so please save that link. And by the end of the week, they should have that up and live for you. Thank you so much again. And we will see you all for our next webinar soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you so much. You guys are a blast. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.